Hello, everybody, and welcome to Getting Started with Salesforce Extensions for VS Code. My name is Trina Morrow.
I am Ritam Agrawal.
And we're part of the Platform Developer Tooling team that brings you the modern developer tooling experience in the IDE. So let's talk about our forward-looking statement. During this conference, you're going to see a bunch of really exciting things, a lot of it which is already out in the wild. Some of it is still being baked, so we only ask that you make your buying decisions based on what is already available. Let's take a look at our agenda. So we're going to learn about what is VS Code, how have we utilized its extensibility to bring that modern developer tooling experience to you, the platform developer, and then we're going to enjoy a demo that Ritam will do for us. So what exactly is the Salesforce extensions for VS Code? Well, before we do that, we have to understand what is VS Code. So VS Code stands for Visual Studio Code. Now, you may have heard of Visual Studio, which is a commercial product, and that is not what this is. VS Code is a lightweight, modern, free IDE that is brought to you by Microsoft. We love it. It's awesome because it is platform agnostic, which means it runs natively on Linux, Mac, and Windows. We also love it because it's free and it's open source. So that means you can just download it today and get started, and you can download the code and see exactly what's behind it. So one of the main reasons why we love it is it is so customizable. And that, my friends, is where the Salesforce extensions come into play. We have written these extensions that allow you to connect seamlessly with your orgs, allow you to view all of your metadata, interact. We've put in some really great autocomplete, interacting with the org, pushing and pulling all from within your development environment. That's great. The other thing is our extensions are also free and open source. And so we develop out in the open. And I'll go over that on the next slide, but our extensions are available through the marketplace. So how do we work? I told you we were a platform developer tooling team that works on your VS Code extensions along with many other tooling. We actually do weekly releases, which is very different than what you're used to with Salesforce, right? And so you'll be getting this goodness, you'll be getting new features, new versions every single week. Our roadmap is out on our repo. Go ahead and scan this QR code right here. That will give you our roadmap for the entire year. You can go in, you can read it, see what's coming, and we love feedback. So you go up to the GitHub issues repo, and you can enter feature requests, just feedback, just talk to us, and we will prioritize your feedback. We might even change our roadmap to include that. And if there's nothing on the roadmap, that there's this one feature that you've really been looking forward to, or this one little nit that you've been getting bugged about that you just want fixed, we welcome community contributions. So please enter a PR. Where are you going to get our extension experience? So as of today, we have it on the desktop. Remember I told you it's platform agnostic, Windows, Mac, or Linux. You just download it, it's local, it's fast, it's awesome. Starting in summer of this year, we are going to be introducing Code Builder, which is all that goodness of extensions and our CLI in your browser. How many of us have been waiting for Salesforce to offer a web IDE? I have. All right, with that, let's get right to the demo. So we're going to be using eBikes. eBikes is a fictional company which manufactures electric bikes, and they utilize this application to manage their bikes and manage their orders. And it uses this really rich product explorer, and those cards are Lightning Web components. I'm going to set up the demo. Ritam is a platform developer. She's been developing for a long time, but she's new to my team. And we use the best practices. We use source code, version control. We use Git. And we also use the modern developer tool, VS Code. This is her first project using VS Code. And I'm going to give her the task of this product card. It looks a little plain to me. And so I'm going to ask her to add a little pop to it. I'm going to leave it up to her as to how she's going to put the pop, but take it away, Ritam.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Ritam Agrawal, and today we'll be taking a quick tour of what VS Code is. I'll be going, followed by that, we'll be going through how to install Salesforce extension. Then I'll be diving deep into how to set up the project and the org, and then we'll be making the change in the LWC component, which Trina just described, and we'll testing it out. So what you see here is VS Code window. You can download VS Code just by through Googling VS Code, and you'll get the application. And as Trina mentioned, it's platform agnostic, so depending on your operating system. To my extreme left is the activity bar here. This is the file explorer. Here, all the files live, which is there in our project. And then if you open any of the files, that lives here in the editor towards the right. And towards this bottom, we have this section, and VS Code provides this amazing features, like in the problems, if any error occurs during our development, it will list down here. Output will display all the output for the commands which we're going to run in our VS Code. Terminal is the very same terminal through which we are used to of running our SFDX CLI commands. But guess what? We don't have to go over switching windows. We can do all and everything right from our VS Code window. So here, going back to the activity bar, we have this extensions marketplace. Once I click here and search for Salesforce, we have these options, and we recommend you downloading Salesforce Extension Pack or Salesforce Extension Pack Expanded. Salesforce Extension Pack bundles up all the extensions that we have to offer. It provides us tools to develop against any org faster, and it supports languages like Apex, Sockle, and with some really amazing features, code completion, debugging, and refactoring. So covering up once we have the Salesforce extension, I would also like to call out that we have two prereqs in order to get the extension up and running. That is JDK, Java Platform Standard Edition Developer Kit, and the Salesforce CLI. And now we can go ahead and dive into setting up our project.
Oh, Ritam, how do I know if my extensions are installed correctly?
Yeah, that's a very great question, Trina. And we can check that out. As you see in the top menu bar, we have view. Once I click here, the option gives me the command palette. So, and as you can see, I can also access it with my keyboard shortcut, Command-Shift-P for the Mac users and Control-Shift-P for the Windows. I go ahead and click that, and I type SFDX. You must be wondering, why am I checking with SFDX? That's because Salesforce extension provides all commands that begins with SFDX.
Oh, okay. So if I am losing my memory and I'm forgetting a command, all I have to do is go to the command palette, type in SFDX, and I see every single command?
Exactly. That's our one stop for all our commands. So let me go ahead, and for today demo purposes, I have already pulled down code from the eBikes Trailhead GitHub repository. I have followed few setup steps which are listed down in their README file. And how I'm gonna go about is, I'll first try to preview. It would be better for me as a first project that I first preview what's already there. And how I can do that is, first I'll create a scratch org, push my source code to the org, preview what's happening there, and then I can decide what changes I would like to make. And let me go ahead and create a scratch org. How can I do that is, I need to first be authenticated with a Dev Hub. And in order to be authenticated to a Dev Hub, we can do it either through command palette, or I can do it through this status bar, which you see down here. We have this plug icon. This is org picker. And once I click here, it gives me an option of authorize a Dev Hub. And it will ask me to put in my credentials. And once I do that, I'll be authenticated to DevHub. Let me go back to my VS Code. And here, I can go to Command Palette now and create a Scratch org. Just by typing, create a default Scratch org. And here we have this amazing feature where we get to choose what configurations we would like to apply to our Scratch org. Here I'm going ahead and choosing the default option of project Scratch dev.json. And then it also asks me to put if I want to any org alias. And it also provides us with an option to select for how many days we would like it to be valid. So today, I'm just going to deal with this Scratch org for 1 day. So I'm just go ahead and press 1. But here, I'm not going to create a Scratch org as of now. I have already created it. So I'll go ahead and press escape here. And I would also like to call this out that in case we are working with multiple orgs, we can find out like to which exact Scratch org or any other org we are connected by looking at this org picker. It displays the name of the current org you're working with. That is TDX'22 demo. And once I have all the code down here, and now I want to see in the org, so we have this command where we can push it to the org, and I can simply search for this one, and this goes ahead with push source to default Scratch org. And once I do that, now in the bottom right, it shows me that it has been successfully run. And wouldn't it be really amazing, Trina, that with not much hassle, we could navigate to our org we are developing?
Yes.
And guess what? Salesforce extension does provide us with this icon, open org, in our status bar. Once I click here, it leads me directly to the org which is connected to my Salesforce extension window. Here, I'm looking for the e-bikes app that I can find out in the app launcher. I go ahead, view all, and select this e-bikes. We need to work out on the product explorer view. So going there, I can see all the products are listed in the displayed as a product tile. And if I just need to click once on the product tile so that product card pops up. And Trina wanted me to emphasize on this product card and add something that makes it more marketable. I think I'll go ahead and add a background color to these sections, which you see here, electric components, frame, and brakes. So let me go ahead to VS Code and do these changes. I know that I need to make changes in the product card, and I really don't want to go through the hassle of navigating through this tree structure and finding it. I have a keyboard shortcut for it, Command P, where I can find any file which I'm looking for. So here, I'm looking for product card CSS in order to add the background color to it. And here in the section, as you can see, it provides us with the feature of code completion. Isn't it cool?
That's so amazing, because I can never remember if there's a dash, if there's not a dash.
I know,
My
right?
spelling is horrible.
And Salesforce extension does extend it to Apex, Aura, and all other files which we use to develop on. And I think I'll go ahead with the color aquamarine here. And considering that we have all our changes done by now, and I think it would be a great feature to have if we could simply compare what's there in our org and what changes we have made locally, and we can have that side-by-side comparison. And guess what? Salesforce extension does provide us with such a feature. I can simply right-click here on the file. Here you see sfdx diff file against org. I can run that command, and it gives me the very direct comparison of what I have on my local, like I've just added the background color and this to the in the org. Now I can go ahead and deploy this to my org with this command push source to default scratch org. And I also like to call out that diff against org is extended to the folder as well. You can consolidate all your changes and check out all the changes which you have made locally. I need to just go ahead and refresh this one so that I can see the change which I have done. And guess what? It's that easy and simple, right?
Yes.
So now I'm good with my changes here and following the best practices. I would go ahead and test it out in my VS Code so that all my existing tests should pass. And for testing, we have on this activity bar, this beaker symbol, which you see. Once I click here, it has all the tests which is associated with the project, whether it's Apex test or LWC test. We can run all the LWC tests just by clicking on this play icon here beside it, or I get to choose if I want to run just a single file. And here I'm going to run just a single file. Since I have made changes to the product tile and the product card area, so let me just go ahead and run this one. I think I should.
What is that red?
Oh, so this shows that we have one test failure, and the good part is we don't have to navigate through where is the test failing. I can simply click here. It will lead me to exactly where the test is failing. I think I can fix it very quickly. It's a typo because I just needed to click 1 and not 11 number of times on the product tile. I save it, and now if you see, Code Lens provides us this opportunity to actually run just the test which was failing. And we don't need to run whole suite or all of the test. So I run the test here, and I see that it passed. So I'm good to go. What do you think about it, Rina? Now I have changed component, and I have done the testing as well.
I think this is great. It looks fantastic. We need a way to get this back to the rest of the team so that they have these changes.
And guess what? I don't even go to anywhere. VS Code does provide me with this very integrated development. It integrates our version control with what we are developing locally. You can see this icon, the branch icon. It lists down all the changes here, and I can simply stage it to my current branch which I'm working, that is feature work product card. With this plus icon, this will stage my changes. And if I want to commit my changes, I can write a commit message here and click on this icon, and in the very same day, my team will be very well aware of all my changes, and they can take it on further from there.
Fantastic. I think that's great.
So let's get back to our presentation.
All right, so just in summary, what have we covered? We have covered Salesforce extensions for VS Code and how much productivity you can have. We've gone over diffing your local changes with your org. This is huge. How many of you have made many changes in many different files and you don't know if you've made those changes? You just do a diff on a folder and it'll show you every single file. You can click through each one and it'll show you the diff. That's amazing. We've also looked at the command palette, a one-stop shop for all of your SFDX commands, and testing with LWC. If you use Dev Console, you know that that is not possible. It is possible with our VS Code extensions. Please take a snap of that QR code. That is to our repo. Can you go back one slide so they can take a quick snap? I should have said it at the beginning. And then go ahead. All right, and so if you're excited about VS Code extensions, what else is there? We have a A session coming up, everything you need to know about the Apex debuggers. We have 3 flavors. Our presenter is back here in the back seat, Randy. And the next session is what is new with the Salesforce extensions. We have a getting started. If you've been working with the Salesforce extensions, you might want to know what we've been doing for the last year. We have a session coming up tomorrow at 3:30. And then we have a booth. It's on the other side of the campground. Come say hi to us, ask any questions. And we have more resources for you here. We have a list of useful trailheads for you to take and a QR code for our documentation. And with that, I want to thank you very much for attending and have a great day.